Hey everybody, welcome to Old Roommates. Today on the show, we revisit two music videos from Janet Jackson, Rhythm Nation and The Pleasure Principle. So sing it for the people, sing it for the babies. Old Roommates is about to begin.
Welcome everyone to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
And we are revisiting, as Brian mentioned, two of Janet Jackson's videos, The Pleasure Principle and Rhythm Nation. We begin like we always do on this podcast. Brian, tell us your history with Janet Jackson, specifically these videos of Janet Jackson.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where God bless and God forgive me. I truly forgot how many hit songs Janet Jackson, and this song sort of triggered that. Mm-hmm. But I used to love Janet Jackson. I think in that point, so say Rhythm Nation back then.
Sure.
Miss You Much, Rhythm Nation, Escapade, All Right, Come Back to Me, Black Cat, Love Will Never Do Without You, State of the World Today. Those are all songs from one album. Those are all hit singles.
Crazy.
I think 7 of them were top 5 songs. But the I loved that album. I loved Janet Jackson. I mean, I loved her even like the album with the song If and Again, and that album, That's the Way Love Goes. I mean, I think it kind of ended there, but for I would say a good stretch of time in the 80s, 90s, I was a very big fan of Janet Jackson.
And you had her albums?
Yeah.
Like you actually owned them?
Yeah. Definitely Rhythm Nation. I didn't have Control. What was the name of the one? I think it's just called Janet, actually.
Probably.
The one in the 90s with That's the Way Love Goes. I had that one for sure. But Rhythm Nation was a awesome album.
And what about the videos? Do you have any recollection of the videos?
I absolutely remembered when we talked about doing this, it was almost like I just instantly remember. I mean, Rhythm Nation, yes, and we're going to talk about The Pleasure Principle, but I remember them.
Yeah.
And it's not like I sit around watching music videos all day from the 80s.
Are you sure about that?
But they're in your brain. I remember them so well. And back then, you watched a lot of MTV, and I loved them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was just an amazing dancer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and how about you, Christina?
Thank you for finally asking. So my past with Janet is the stormy one. No, I'm just kidding. I liked Janet Jackson. I wasn't a crazy fan. I didn't own any of her records or albums or tapes or anything like that. I liked her music. So when it came on the radio or whatever, I would like it and listen to it. I probably know most of the songs, or the hits at least. And I always felt like the videos were very entertaining because she is such a great dancer.
Yeah.
And just dynamic to watch and just interesting. Just very interesting. I will say, before revisiting these two videos, I don't know if I could have pinpointed which song was which with the video.
Okay.
Because, if I had seen just a clip without the music, obviously, of Pleasure Principle, I would be like, I don't know, maybe Escape? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't have been able to pinpoint each one. But I did like them. And I remember, I was in college when I think Escape came out.
Are you saying Escapade?
Oh, Escapade. I'm so sorry. Did I say Escape twice? Escapade, yes. Clearly, I'm a huge fan. But I remember just liking... Oh, what was the In Control? Was that Escapade?
Well, there's Control.
Control,
yeah. And then there's... that album, Control, had What Have You Done For Me Lately?
Yes,
I love that
so
one.
that was... Yeah, that was the album I pretty much remember more than any of them.
Yeah.
And that was when I was in college. So I wasn't necessarily watching videos during that period of time, so there was probably like 86, 87.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? Yeah. So I remember listening to him listening to their parties and things like that. So that was the one I was mostly familiar with. But yeah, I mean, back then it was hard not to see a video. Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it was just an MTV generation. But I liked her. I did like her, and I respected her dancing. And again, always very interesting to watch. So what about now, Brian?
Yeah,
when did you watch our video?
A little bit of history. This video was released, if Wikipedia is to be believed, October of 1989. I rewatched this morning.
So okay, which one are we doing first?
Oh, Rhythm Nation.
Rhythm Nation.
Is that
okay, that's fine.
So Rhythm Nation. I mean, my first note is holy shit. I thought this was so, just instantly so compelling, like the black and white. I wrote, it reminds me so much of If, that video for If, like even the music too. And then she talks about, blurring the color lines or the riff of color lines, and so having it all black and white. And I did a little bit of digging, like Janet Jackson believed that the black and white actually showed the shades of black and white folks in that video.
Sure, that's great.
Better.
That makes
but
sense.
the choreography, I just thought it was so cool. Like everything's monochromatic, and the unity of the choreography and the dancers. And I feel like sometimes when you see things like that through my middle-aged lens, like it's like, oh, great, because there's so many, but I wonder if you isolated one, if the dancing would be as good. And I think Rhythm Nation, it would be as good.
I agree.
I thought it was just great. I do want to say quickly that the song was written by Janet and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. It was directed by Dominic Sena, who also directed Pleasure Principle, which we'll get to, and it's choreographed by Anthony Bam Bam Thomas.
Interesting.
But it's hard to fault it, and even the message is really nice.
Yes.
And so, I thought it was really, really well done. How about you?
So I also really liked this video. This was the second video I watched.
Okay.
So it'll be maybe a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I did really like this video. Immediately I felt like it's very military.
Right.
Which was kind of interesting. Yep. And I really appreciated the group dancing. I appreciated how in sync they all were. It was really interesting, especially with them dressed military. It reminded me of the marching soldiers and things like that. Yeah. And the way she dances is very sharp. Sharp moves and quick boom, like I could never keep up. Not even for a minute. My only criticism about it, and this may be because was the second video that I watched, so it was a lot of it. I just wrote, "Why are you so sad, Janet?" There's not one smile.
Well, I think that was,
and I understand that.
Yeah.
But this is the second video, and I just would have liked to have seen a little bit of, a little bit of a smile or happiness or something.
I think because also too, it's like. For Janet, I think when you think of Janet Jackson, you think of her smiling. She's so pretty, and it's like, oh, you have such a pretty smile.
Yes, absolutely. Well, what's that? When I See You Smile, is that one of the songs?
No.
What is it called?
I don't know.
I Love Your Smile. I think it's called I Love Your Smile.
No, that's Shanice. I love your smile.
That's
It's Shanice, Christina.
Okay, fine.
So did she not smile? I don't remember. Did she not smile in Pleasure Principle?
She does not.
The dancing is very, like you're saying, militant, direct. It's aggressive. It's hard, and I think it would be weird if she did smile.
Okay, I get that. I totally get that. I did think that the boy watching, added a little something to it.
Yeah,
I broke it up a little bit, and he didn't really have a huge purpose aside from stalking people and watching them dance. But I liked it.
Yeah. Do you want to guess how old she is in this video, Janet?
In this video? Oh, God, I don't know. I'm not even sure how old she is right now. I think she's probably my age right now. So I'm going to guess she was, I'll say 25.
Ooh, 21.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But 21 5'4". She's 5'4". I was just like, I was fascinated with how much, no pun intended, but how much control she has in her
She's
dancing.
in
I did
control.
read, and I don't know if this is true, and I'm sure there's some Janet Jackson fans listening, but I read that she's not even a trained dancer, but she just picks up the moves really fast.
And I mean, think about the family that she grew up in. Like her, from what I understand, her father was not a very nice person,
right?
And probably quite strict.
Yeah.
And he was probably very much like, look, you got to dance and you have to do it well. And I mean, maybe not professionally trained in the traditional sense, but she was probably trained in a non-traditional sense by her father.
Yeah, and her family, seeing her brothers.
Just being in that industry.
The key that she wears in her ear, there's a story behind that.
Oh, you know what?
Do you know it?
I feel like I knew it back in the 80s. I feel like I knew it.
Molded from her house keys, and the keys when she was growing up, and the key. So because there was so much success and fame from the Jackson 5, they had a lot of money, and they had a lot of animals.
Yes.
And her chores, though, were to take care of the animals. So she was like feeding peacocks and all these crazy animals in their land. And she said that that every single day when she came home from wherever, she would have to take care of all the animals.
Wow.
And that there's no way to sort of corral animals, clean out their pens, feed them all with holding the keys. So she ended up having these hoop earrings, and she hooked the keys on her hoop earrings.
I don't think I heard that story.
And,
that's cool.
Yeah, and she had them molded down into like the key that we see in her ear for
that is very,
Rhythm
very
Nation.
cool. So Tito wasn't involved with the feeding of the animals? Like what's happening with the rest of them?
That's right. I know.
Was there 7 children in that family?
But God knows the other chores. Maybe they didn't have them because they were the Jackson 5.
No, they were the Jackson 5.
And
LaToya. What about LaToya?
Poor LaToya. I don't know. I would imagine LaToya gets some of the worst chores. That's just a guess.
Yeah, definitely.
This video won the MTV Video Music Award for Best Choreography in a Video, Best Dance Video, the Video Vanguard Award. It won a Grammy for Best Music Video Long Form. Billboard Awards won Best Female Video, Female Artist, Top Dance Single of the Year, and the Director's Award for Dominic Sena. The outfit she wears is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
No way.
The Billboard charts, it was number 2 on the Hot 100, number 1 R&B, number 1 in dance.
And what about the Casey Kasem? American Top 40. That's what I'm interested in.
Let's see. Oh, the inspiration for the video. Any guesses? It was a movie inspiration. 80s, early 80s, Blade Runner.
Yeah. Oh, good.
And they actually used the same elevator that was used in the...
Yeah, I liked the whole vibe of it being in this, like, warehouse type.
Yeah, like post-apocalyptic, industrial, yeah. Let's see.
Waiting for the Terminator to walk up.
Exactly. And also inspired, the costumes were inspired by a movie called Fahrenheit 451. But I can't, I was saying to Carl, I can't get over the 7 top 5 hits on one album. I haven't done the digging, but it sounds like a little, maybe Taylor Swift has had that. I don't really know. Madonna. I think Alanis' first album maybe had 5 top 5 hits. But I'm not a music historian, but I think it's like, but all of these songs, and some of these songs are so different. Like to know that Love Will Never Do Without You is in the same same album as Black Cat is really funny to me. Mm-hmm. So, but that is actually all my notes for Rhythm Nation. Anything else you have?
I said it's a lot of the same dancing moves, but definitely more energy and more interesting with the others, but that's more of a comparison. Oops.
Yeah. And of course the message and the message is really strong too.
It's a great message. And I love that she did it in black and white and for the reasons that she did it. I like that a lot.
Moving right along to The Pleasure Principle. Now this is, like I said, from the album Control. This was released in June of 1987. But what's funny is I watched an interview with Janet Jackson, and she's like, well, that was done in 1986. So I don't know if she's referring to the song or the video, but the video was June 1st, 1987.
Was when it was released?
Released
perhaps? So,
as a video. So maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
But maybe I don't know. Christina, The Pleasure Principle.
So this video I remembered even more than I did from Rhythm Nation. Again, it was the first video I saw for this revisit. And I remember I just got like this really fun sort of nostalgic feeling when she walked in. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about this one. I loved, not forgot, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I loved that she walked in and just the regular clothes. I felt like this was her, well, just I guess the idea of the video is just her almost like practicing or just dancing with herself.
Yeah.
That sort of vibe, which I really enjoyed. Yeah. And I love that she was dancing in like jeans, but I think they were like jeggings. I think they were jeggings. But
yeah. They were guest jeans.
They were because they had the little emblem there. But I loved this video back then.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. I was a little fascinated with it. And again, it's her dancing. Yeah. It's the whole vibe. I think the regular clothes thing really did something for me.
Yeah.
It just
then or now?
Then.
Yeah.
And now, honestly. But definitely then. I think that's why I was so fascinated with it. Like, oh my gosh, like look at her dancing around in those clothes. Yeah. So what about you?
So then I remember just being like, oh shit, like I thought it was so original.
Yes.
Just her in this big room. Mm-hmm. And you know, and it's almost hard to not jump into now, but it's like I love this video then. Mm-hmm. I really did. I thought it was so cool, just her flying around the room, using chairs, tipping the chairs over, like, you know, and I was like, this is really cool. I do remember very vividly being like, what does the shirt mean? What does her t-shirt mean?
Yes.
Like, I kept thinking there are all these little hidden messages and like, whose apartment is she? Is she in her boyfriend's apartment? Because the song is very like independent woman. Like she says like, I'm not here to feed your insecurities. And then at one point she says, thank you for the ride nowhere. But in that, and it's hard not to talk about now, but it's like, it even now, it's like, I think it resonates almost even more. Mm-hmm. But I just love this video that was so original, which is really saying a lot because it's very simple. In some ways, it's very simple.
It is very, very simple. So what about now, since we...
I thought it was funny because watching it now, I kept having to check dates because I'm like, this feels like Footloose meets Flashdance.
Oh my God, yes.
Destiny's Child.
And then there's some voguing in there.
Thank you.
Right?
The wavy, and she does the hands in the face. I don't know if you can't see us.
Yes.
But I'm doing this like the L in front of the face, like Madonna, Vogue. And obviously Vogue is after this.
Yes.
Janet also does the wavy legs thing.
Yes.
Which people love doing when they're being goofy, like on a dance floor, they do the wavy leg. She does this. I couldn't effing find proof that this is the first time I've seen that. But didn't you feel like watching this, like,
yes.
Did she invent that?
I was watching it, and I wasn't thinking dates, but I was watching it thinking, and it was sort of a little bit it was in the video, like maybe a minute or so in. And all of a sudden, it was like the voguing and the Flashdance stuff. The Flashdance stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, is she just doing a bunch of different dances from different videos?
Yeah.
Like, that was what I was thinking, because there was so many different dance moves from different videos. Yeah. And I had to think about it. I'm like, wait, what is happening? Is she doing this? I almost wanted to watch it again, but I didn't, to see if other moves were happening in the first minute of the video. Mm-hmm. But yes, I noticed it right away. Like, I'm like, this is Flashdance meets Footloose meets Vogue.
1000%. And of course, I think I misspoke. Obviously, this is before Vogue.
Even the setting of it was very Footloose and Flashdance.
Well, I feel like I feel like it starts off as Flashdance, and then the thing with the slats, she's like dancing on this little bridge with the sleds. I'm like, that's fucking Footloose.
Yes.
And even her moves. And it's like Footloose is, I think, 84. This is 87. Vogue is 90. This is, so it's like, on the one hand, she is, you know, she's, I think, sort of paying homage. Although I found, by the way, I found nothing to support what I'm about to say.
Isn't that so funny?
But I found, if this felt like a nice little nod to these sort of iconic 80s movies, even though this was 80s. This is 87. So Flashdance is what, 85, 86? Maybe even earlier. Footloose is 84. So she kind of has these nods to these pop culture moments. But I couldn't find anything to support that.
Right.
But I loved this video, even more so through like my middle-aged lens. This is directed by, again, Dominic Sena. Choreographed by Barry Lather. The song was written by Monty Moore. And it won Best Choreography and nominated for Best Female Video, I believe that's MTV. Billboard, number 14 on the Hot 100, number 1 in dance, number 1 in R&B hip hop. But yeah, I really loved it.
Yeah, I really loved it too. I loved the whole vibe. I did feel like it was a bit long.
Oh, really?
Just a bit. Like I started near the end, starting to feel like it was a bit repetitive.
Yeah.
And maybe it was because it was just the one person
and all around.
It could have been that, and I was a bit confused about like where is she exactly? Well, because when you first walk in, you think it's almost like a dance studio. Well, you think it's an apartment, and then you see all the mirrors. You're like, oh, it's a dance studio. And then she's dancing with a bunch of cars. So I'm like, is it a garage? Like, I was just confused as to where exactly it is that she is doing all of this.
Yeah. There were parts where I took it as like, oh, she's in her ex-boyfriend's place. Or this guy who, you know, it's a little unclear too because she's very strong, like the vocal, like the lyrics are very strong. So she almost seemed like, I keep saying the word control, but she almost seemed like more in control of this relationship. Like, she seemed like she could sniff this guy out, like a little more quickly than he expected. And she's tipping chairs over, so I was like, and she left the chairs tipped over. And I feel like, to me it was like, it meant like, is she kind of trashing his place? But not really.
One chair, Brian? That's pretty pitiful.
There were 2 chairs tipped over.
I'm going to trash your place by tipping over these 2 chairs.
And is the mirror broken at one point?
I don't remember seeing it broken.
I thought it was like different shards. Maybe I'm wrong. But cracked,
it's not
but
to
not
say,
smashed.
I'm not saying it's not. I just don't remember it.
But so and then even the hair, like her haircut. Remember the haircut was a big deal.
Yes.
It was like this like new edgy cut. So I did a little digging. She said, "What does the T-shirt mean?" She's like, She has no idea what the T-shirt means. She said she believes it's from it's like just a Gautier T-shirt. She can't even remember where it's from, but she has no idea what it means. She was told that J-Lo, Britney, and Mya have all cited this video as inspirational to their own respective videos. And she said that it means so much to her that this video that she's like, listen, I love wrestling shoes. I'm super comfortable wearing wrestling shoes. I wore them for the video. I just threw on some Guess jeans. She was obsessed with Guess jeans. She apparently had a friend that worked at Guess at the mall. Oh my gosh. And her friend would let her jump in and like work the register. She's she loved the Guess brand. And she was like, I just liked working there. And it's funny because you think about that. It's like she was sort of, of course they were multimillionaires, but like she was robbed of that sort of part-time job experience. Yes. She was on Good Times and she was a child. So it's like, and so she was but she liked working in the cash register at Guess Jeans.
Isn't that funny? And she strikes me as very shy too, so it seems unusual that she would want to like interact with the public. Yeah. But she said, she considered this video, quote, she just really wanted to work out. She wanted like that's a what dance you get workout. That feel. You feel that. You feel like she's just there to either practice or just goof around or whatever. Yeah. But she's dynamite in it. Yeah. I will say, so Control, get ready for this. So there's 6 top hit songs from that album. 6. So it's What Have You Done For Me Lately, Nasty, When I Think of You, Control, Let's Wait a While. Remember that one? Let's wait a while before. And then this one, The Pleasure Principle. Yeah. So it blows my mind how many hit songs she's had. And I feel I mean, did we know that back then, or was she overshadowed by someone like Madonna or Michael?
Well, yeah, but I think, well, that's right. And I think, too, but I think that's also a middle-aged lens thing. I think, because when you're, Jesus, I almost tipped my whole coffee over.
That is
Getting
not
very
in control.
excited about this.
You
I'm out of control. Thank you, Christina.
You and your Guess jeans.
But you know what's funny? I think what I'm realizing for me is that when you're growing up, when say a iconic star like Janet Jackson, when she has all these hit songs, you don't even know what's what. Like, you don't know how rare that is.
Right.
Until you're older and you're like, holy shit, when does that even happen? 7 top 5 songs
from
one album?
Insane.
Like, you're lucky you buy a cassette, and you remember buying a cassette, you buy a cassette for one song, and that would be the only hit song on the cassette.
Right.
Yeah, so, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, to imagine being like a Janet Jackson fan and like, oh, you're buying an album and 7 of those.
And this must have been like in circulation or whatever for years, because I mean, you release a song, it's out for a couple of months.
Yeah.
Then you release another song.
I didn't write down the dates, but all the dates. But
it must have
been. It was
been
a big stretch of time for all of these songs. Yeah, because I believe this is true. Like, they typically waited for the song to die down, like, before they released another one.
That would make sense.
Like, I'm thinking of too, like Cyndi Lauper, like Girls Just Want to Have Fun, She Bop, Time After Time, All Through the Night. Like, that first album, or I don't know if that's her first album, but She's So Unusual had a lot of big hits on that one too. So, but they didn't just release 3 songs at once, or even 3 songs within a month. So, but I was just blown away by how many hits she's had. Really quick, one thing about going back to Rhythm Nation. So that was, I believe, October of '89.
Okay.
Madonna's Express Yourself was May of '89. I did feel that reminded me, that Rhythm Nation reminded me quite a bit of Express Yourself. Express Yourself was first. Of course, a different kind of expression, right?
Yes.
This is like Madonna's being about sexual expression and female expression. And Rhythm Nation's definitely about racial expression, racial harmony, and just getting along. And so different themes, but they share a similar look and feel for sure. But I love both of these videos.
Yeah, even like the dance style.
Yes.
Is very similar.
Yeah, like that very hard arms.
Yes.
Yeah. So Christina, do you have any other notes?
I do not have any other notes, I don't think. I did say I did love the blue lights behind her. We talked about this, like that footloose.
Very footloose.
The blue lights with the shadows. It was really, really fun. But yeah, no, I think that was all my notes, really.
But talking it out now, I think it's a harder decision for me.
I know it is a hard decision for me as well.
Because you have the Rhythm Nation, which is really such a strong message, and you have Pleasure Principle, which is such a strong video. Like, I mean, like in the dance, like the solo dance, it's like it is as iconic. I feel like. And by the way, both of these videos have over 20. Both of these things. These things have over 20. Like they hover around the 25 million views mark. So
it's crazy. So now we have to decide, as some of the viewers may not be aware, we have an imaginary vault, and when we do a comparison of videos, we decide which one we will put in the vault to keep forever, and which one will be destroyed, never to be seen again. Mm-hmm. So we need to make that decision about this video, and all right, I think I have my choice.
Oh shit, really?
I think
I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I'm writing it down.
All right. Oh,
one moment.
I ran out of ink. Is this
What does that tell you? Do you need a pen?
I have another one in my bag, but if you have one handy.
I have 2. Well, this one's pretty good.
All right. Just whatever. Hey, I caught it. Okay.
I'm really torn right now.
I will tell you right now.
Okay.
This is a different answer than what I had this morning when I was thinking about it before I got here.
Jesus. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Pleasure Principle. Wow. Why, Christina? Why?
So this morning I was thinking Rhythm Nation because I genuinely enjoyed that video a bit more, truth be told, with the dancers being in sync, with the the little boy, which
Yeah.
just, I felt like it flowed a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I will say, Pleasure Principle, I chose that because it is more unique.
Yeah.
It's iconic in its uniqueness with the one person throughout, and it's still interesting. I know I felt like it was a bit long.
Yeah.
It lost me a little bit near the end, but only the last like 30, maybe 20 seconds or so, right? But I like that it had so many different sort of nods to different eras in a way of the 80s, I guess. Dance moves. And I liked that I just liked her whole vibe. I just thought it was just so much more unique.
Yeah.
And so if we're watching it in the vault with other videos, it's going to stand out a little bit more.
1,000%.
So we're laughing right now.
Yeah, we got some feedback.
Okay, so we got some feedback. Finish your thought first.
Again, before I even watched the videos, I'm like, well, obviously Rhythm Nation is going to be in the vault. Obviously Rhythm Nation is going to be in the vault. And then as I'm taking notes and as I'm watching these videos and as I'm talking to you, I'm like, I loved how many nods to different things. I loved how many different types of dance steps there were. She seems to be having much more fun in this one.
Yes, although
and
she's
you're
still
right.
not smiling.
Not smiling.
But yes.
But to your point about being the solo person, because we did put Express Yourself in the vault. So I feel like, and I know they're not super similar, but I think like her dancing alone is so compelling and so great to watch that I think that stands out more.
Yes.
More iconic.
I do think it's funny that we pretend that this vault is real. And
we take it seriously.
And now we do take it seriously. Yeah. And we're actually placing things in the vault based on other things that are in the vault. Like we feel like it's we're gonna open it up in 25 years, and someone's going to look at all these videos, but it's all in our minds.
Listen to me right now. I am telling you, if we ever stop this podcast and then go back to like look at what we put in the vault, I think we'd be very proud of ourselves.
Oh my gosh, there's no question.
Yeah.
No question at all.
Yeah, when we're 70, we're gonna look back in that vault and be like, we were good. We were
good. And do you still have your Spotify playlist going?
Oh my God. It just became so long. Oh, but the vault though. No, I haven't done that yet. I will.
Do it? Yeah. Because now I think there's enough in
where it's a pretty
the vault
great
that it's
playlist.
going to be a pretty good playlist.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say at least 20.
I have to go back and listen to
I would say there's at least
apps.
20 songs in this, and that makes for a good playlist.
I agree.
So what we're talking about here is we have a Spotify playlist, an old roommate's Spotify playlist, which is a variety of songs from different movies and different things.
It's like over 100 songs.
Yeah, there's a lot on there. It's really fun and very, again, unique. And there's lots of different types of songs and things. But I think having an actual old roommate's vault playlist, I think that's necessary.
Yep, you're right. I'm going to do it.
All right, thank you.
But we should talk about the 1,000%.
Yes.
We got some feedback.
Yes.
Some feedback that we say 1,000% when we agree, maybe a little too frequently.
Yes.
I don't apologize.
I don't either. This is how we speak, people. Okay?
Because 100, I feel like in this day and age, in this economy, 100% is nothing.
It's nothing.
100% is nothing.
100%. Nothing is 100% anymore.
Right. Thank you.
So, yes, we probably do have our little phrases that we say often. And
we'll get t-shirts made.
We apologize. Oh my gosh. You know what, Brian? 1,000%.
1,000%.
1,000,000%. I might start saying 1,000,000%. But anyway, even so, we appreciate the feedback. We do appreciate it.
1,000%.
If you want to give us feedback, even if it's negative, I know we've had some interesting comments about a couple of episodes in the recently, The Shining didn't go over quite as well as we had hoped. But honestly, I'm not apologizing.
No.
I'm not apologizing for anything I say on anything of any of these podcasts because, again, we said at the beginning of the Shining episode, this is merely our opinion, and you may not agree with it, and that's okay. And honestly, if it's invoking any kind of emotion, I feel like we're doing our job because we are helping you all of our listeners, to think about these movies that you may not have thought about in many, many years. And that's really, we're revisiting it and we are not apologetic. At least I'm not. Are you?
No, I think the thing is like you have to, as long as you're actually rewatching this stuff we're talking about before you get like hostile. And,
right.
And accost us in public or send us vicious text messages from other countries.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe just revisit the things we're talking about.
Because we may have if we weren't revisiting, like the whole point of this podcast is to revisit with a middle-aged lens, right?
Yeah.
So if we were going to just talk about it without revisiting it, it would be a totally different conversation.
1,000%.
1,000%. So just keep that in mind before you accost us.
But and all that to say,
opinion, please just rewatch it. And if you still feel the same way, fantastic. I appreciate and respect your opinion as much as you appreciate and respect our opinion.
Very good. Very good. And that was our Janet Jackson videos. And by the way, I'm always open to a conversation.
Oh, 1,000%.
And that was Janet Jackson. Thank you. And that's it for us and for this episode of Old Roommates.
Thank you for listening. Please remember to follow us on Instagram or YouTube, where we have our episodes as well as a little extra.
And if you have any questions about our show, any suggestions for movies we could revisit, reach out to us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com.
Thanks again for listening.
This is Brian.
And this is Christina. Until next time.